up, everyone? We're the Bulls brothers. I'm AJ.
I'm Matthew.
Yeah, and we're here to talk to you about Bulls Nation, huh? Some Bulls athletics.
Go Bulls.
Um, both of us are USF alumni. We've been lifelong USF Bulls fans, and we're here to spread a little bit of word about how things are going.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So, how you doing, Matt?
I am doing great. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited right now. We got big things on the horizon as far as I can tell.
Yes, no, I definitely agree with you. I think this is a huge upcoming year for the USF football program, but just the
Hmm.
athletics program and total, I think we've got a lot of big things coming down the pipe. So
Absolutely. And as a Bulls fan, I'm glad to see it. We've had quite a few years in the pits and valleys of the NCAA, but now we're starting to see some sunshine. We're starting to climb the mountain here.
yeah, and you want to say pits two or three more times because I mean I feel like we've been in the pits for a while.
That's
Uh,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, a lot of exciting stuff coming up for the Bulls, this upcoming year. Speaking, of some things that have happened over the past couple of years that I think are really exciting as well, just in terms of, athletic facility upgrades. I think the athletic program has done an amazing job at, putting the athletics kind of at the forefront of the school, I think, over the past couple of years.
I
Just,
agree.
yeah.
And
Uh,
that is in large part due to the athletic director,
Mike.
Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly. Oh, my guy, Kelly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, true enough though. I mean, he has been a, just detrimental part of the growth and success of the athletics programs over the past couple of years. Putting together a lot of cool things. Like I said, going back to what I said earlier, these facility upgrades. We've got the new Porter family indoor performance facility. Awesome, 88 or 90,000 square foot indoor practice facility that I think is going to do a ton of stuff for us in terms of, attracting recruits and just making them, realize that we have this, amazing space that's going to help them, kind of grow and recover on, if that's the unfortunate case as an athlete here at USF. We've got everything here for them to be successful.
We do. We do. So we're just gonna roll right into talking about USF football the upcoming year. I think the team looks good this year. What are your thoughts, Matthew? What do you think about
Yeah,
the
I
team?
know. I think no, I think there's a lot of good things about this team for this upcoming season. I think we're bringing back a lot of experience from last season. Notably, obviously, you can't hide from this at the quarterback position. I think we're bringing back someone who is going to be special, not only for the program, but I think for college football as a whole.
Hmm.
Um, but not
Oh,
only that, and the receiver positions, we got number 38 Sean Atkins coming back, who is a record-breaking receiver for USF last year. Um,
hmm.
so on top of that, I think a lot of defensive developments.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Last year was a good year. It was a turnaround year for the program. We've kind of been in the dumps in the dark ages, and the years before that. But it was nice to see us turn some things around. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think I can speak on behalf of thousands of Bulls fans that, well, I mean, what a relief it was to get that wagon off and maybe win a few games. Especially that that bowl shutout against Syracuse. I think was just an absolute
Yeah,
confidence
a
booster for
nice little feather in the cap there, huh?
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah,
just last season just kind of showing that hey, we're still here, and we can win some football games. We've got this recruiting
that's
ground
right.
that we can play with a little bit here, and
Yeah,
we can hang with
and
these guys.
we have a history of playing good football, good nationally competitive football, and you know, I don't want to get too far ahead, but it looks like we're heading in a good direction right now. I'm the last to put all my hopes in. We're going to be conference champions, and we're going to make the 12 team playoff this year because I've quite honestly been hurt before by my expectations, and so I'm hesitantly excited about this upcoming season.
Yeah, and to go back what you said about expectations, I think one of the, biggest downfalls over the past 4 or 5 years is that, USF, they haven't really, tempered expectations. And so every time we have this glimmer of hope, our fans take it and run with it. And I think it just leads to more heartbreak. Uh, so, I just think, the biggest thing going into this year is, hey, we did a little bit last year. We won a few games. We won a few good games. We lost a few bad games.
Mm-hmm.
But can we take those wins and build on them and push them into this
Yeah.
season and build on that last season? I think, that's, as an athletic department as a whole, we've been in really great places before.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 in the nation even at one point. But do we build on those small successes? And I think that's where this year is going to be very paramount for this school and this athletic department is, can we build on that success that we had last year? If you want to even call it success. I think
I
in a lot of
absolutely agree. Yeah.
right.
And I think let's call it what it is, positive momentum, right? It is much better than 2 years ago, and it is success by us, by our standards, what we were looking for out of a first-year coach in Galesh.
Right.
And Galesh is doing and saying the right things right now. He's building off that momentum. He's keeping his boys focused, and he quite honestly is learning from the mistakes last year. We did have some positives last year, but we still had a lot of holes in our game, and
Mm-hmm.
he's learning from that. And I think to that effect, I'm excited to see how those issues have been, I guess, rectified.
Yeah.
Um, we got obviously a soft spot for us last year was in the defensive secondary. But we do have some help there this year, and that group says they're feeling strong. So we'll see. They may not be so heavily tested the first week against Bethune-Cookman, but it won't be long until they're having cannons fired over their shoulders. So we'll see. We'll see how they react to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Todd Orlando is he's gonna put together, I think he's gonna put together a pretty solid defense this year. I know they recruited heavy. I know one of our biggest downfalls last year was that defensive line. I think, from what I've seen, they've done to the best of their ability, at least, to kind of fill that gap a little bit and just kind of give us an opportunity to. It wasn't even run stop. I don't think that we were so bad at last year. It was just getting to the passer. Can we disrupt that passer? I think that's the biggest thing that we can do as a defense this year is, get in that quarterback's face, make them scramble
Yeah,
around, make them make decisions on the fly. If you give them 5 seconds in the pocket, any high school quarterback over here in Hillsborough County can sit in the pocket for 10 seconds and get a pass off. So,
that's right. Yeah.
can we get in that passer's face this year? That's still to be determined. But I think, from what I've seen, Todd Orlando has done his, to his best ability to kind of fill that gap a little bit for us this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And quite honestly, we were very inconsistent because last year we had some glimmers of that. In the Alabama game, we pressured them a lot. I think we had 3 sacks in that game. And so, they always had that ability. They just weren't putting it together, game in and game out. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And so, speaking of Alabama, that's obviously a looming threat. 2 weeks out from now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about us going up there and playing in the big house?
See, the $1 million question, Bryant Denny Stadium. And if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be naming the stadium after or the
They,
field, right? Nick
the
Saban
field,
Field.
they are going to be
Uh,
naming it Nick Saban Field.
so wouldn't that be just a sweet little bit of glory right there, just to kind of
Oh
ruin
yeah,
that day?
yeah.
But
We
go ahead.
I was going to say we've taken down giants before, and that would be the biggest giant of all. So that
Yeah,
would be quite
definitely.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've definitely had some good road games at these giants, quote unquote. I mean, we took down West Virginia, Auburn, Florida State, and in Doe Campbell, or Doe Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Notre Dame, up
yep.
in South Bend, so we've
You know,
risen to the occasion in foreign lands quite a few times.
yeah. So I mean, going into that game, I think it's going to be, um, you know, it's going to be an awesome, kind of a measuring stick kind of. And I
Hmm.
know that's honestly how we kind of viewed that game last year going into it as well. It's just, hey, what kind of progress have we made? This is the cream of the crop. This is the top tier. I mean, Alabama went and played the national championship last year.
That's right. Yeah.
What can we do against a team like that? Can we hang with those guys? I know last year in Raymond James, we had almost a monsoon, and that might have affected them a little bit. I know Jalen Milroe wasn't playing in that game, and that definitely that definitely kind of tampered their offense down a little bit. But yeah, going into this year's game, I think let's go at them. Let's punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do again. And let's go into their environment and kind of just disrupt that environment a little bit.
That's right. Yeah. And quite honestly, the way Galesh is talking, he and the boys they have, you know, they're 100% going in there to win. This is not a, let's go try to save some face game. They're going to go punch them in the mouth and they're going to go out there and try to win this game. Galesh was, not satisfied last year, with, our loss to them, although maybe to be expected, but, he's got a winning attitude, which is, really spreading throughout the team and quite honestly, the school in as a whole. We've got a lot of good positive energy there, and that that second game against Alabama will be a test. I do think whatever the outcome is, we will still have that good energy, moving forward from there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, similar to like the way we did last year. I mean, we had
Hmm.
we had that good energy and momentum rolling after that game. We kind of felt like, hey, we belong here a little bit.
Hmm.
And back to what you said about Galesh kind of saying the right things. After that game last year, I'm gonna absolutely botch this quote, but say it in a few words is basically he said, celebrating a close loss is for losers.
Yeah.
We aren't losers. We should have won that game, and we shouldn't, dwell in the fact that, oh, we almost kind of gave them trouble there. We lost
Yeah.
that game, and
That's right.
and
Yeah.
I love that mindset coming from Galesh. That, hey, awesome, we played Alabama, we played them tight. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter, we lost. And if we want to sit there, and if I as a coach want to sit there and say, hey, but we almost beat them, that's a sure way to get fired as a coach,
Yeah.
because
That's right.
almost
Yeah.
beating them isn't beating them. And
Yeah.
so going into this year, it's going to be an intense game. It's going to be an intense environment, I think, for our players to play in that SEC environment. I know since Galesh has been there, we haven't really had to go on the road and play a team like that. We've played Florida a couple times. And
Hmm.
then, way back in the day, we played, those West Virginias and those Auburns and Florida States. But, going into this game, I think, you know, we obviously want to come out with the win, but
Hmm.
let's go into it and just you know play our game and just get to the basics, get to the fundamentals, and just play a good solid football game with those guys. And I think that should be our goal going into this. Of course, we want to crash the party, but I would much rather go in there and really see what kind of our guys are about versus Alabama than go in there and with big heads and try to crash the party. Like I
Yeah. That's right. Well, yeah, and so that's another thing Glesh was saying. He doesn't want the ups and downs. That's what our team was last year. We had ups and downs. So we go in doing our job, doing what we practice, doing exactly what we have in our game plan, and come out the other side doing the same thing. Even keel. We want to keep kind of an even head. We're not trying to go rip the house down. We're trying to go play USF Bull football,
right.
and hopefully that football is good enough to have us on top on the scoreboard, at the end of the day. Um, but so let's actually go back. We jumped ahead to Alabama already, but let's talk about Bethune-Cookman a little bit.
Yep.
That's our season opener at home. I believe we're 40-point favorites.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I think I think we've earned that right to be the 40-point favorite in this game.
Hmm.
I mean, beating Syracuse 45-0 to end the season last year, I think, that's kind of shown the analysts that, hey, these guys, you know, they've had a rough couple of years, but, you can't just write them off and
Yeah.
discount what they just did. So go into that game. I think we've earned that right with this explosive offense we have. I mean, I think we're gonna be able to throw the ball and run the ball against Bethune Cookman. But that's not to take away from Bethune Cookman at all. They've done, from what I understand, an amazing job recruiting coming into this game, and I think they're going to be a step up from what they've even been over the last couple of years.
Hmm.
But just kind of on paper, in Raymond James, I don't doubt that we're going to go and we're gonna move the ball. And I think
Yeah.
more importantly than scoring touchdowns against Bethune Cookman, can we seal it up? Can we goose egg them?
Yeah.
Let's
See
we
how
we
our defense can hold
we
up.
showed
Yeah.
we showed everyone we could score touchdowns last year,
That's right.
but
Yeah.
we also
Quickly.
showed everyone that we could give up a lot of touchdowns last year. And so I
Yes.
think going into that game, I think that locker room's got to roll out there saying, we're not going to let them have anything, not a
Hmm.
field goal, not a first down, nothing.
That's
We
right. Yeah.
have to step on the gas pedal on defense at least.
That's right. Yeah. And hold them, for three and outs, three and outs. That's what we're looking for. Or interceptions, fumbles, sacks. We want to look for good stats. We want this defense to, show out against what should be an inferior opponent. Yeah, absolutely. And that'll kind of be a good little tune-up game. At least we're hoping that'll be a tune-up game for Alabama coming up. And then, we have what? Southern Miss next. Hopefully that'll be another little tune-up game, and then our next opponent at home is going to be Miami.
Miami.
So that's another top dog, ranked
Mm-hmm.
what 19 right now. So we've got a couple of ranked games in the first four, and so we really should know what we're working with by game four.
Definitely.
And I think Miami, quite honestly, is a really good opportunity for us.
Oh,
They are a nationally ranked team. A lot of people are talking about them winning the ACC. But I think we're gonna give them a little bit of trouble.
yep.
They have to first come into Raymond James, and Raymond James isn't always a powerhouse. It's not always a scary place to go into. But in Miami's case, they've lost here before. They're an in-state rivalry, and I think Bulls Nation's going to show out. I
Oh yeah.
think we're going to have a packed house in there.
Yeah.
At least we're planning on being out there, and tailgating before. But yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of a, enemy territory for them. And I think the crowd can have a big influence on that game, and that's another team. We want to come out and, punch them in the mouth. We're not afraid to run with the big dogs here. And, I think that could really be a season highlight, if we can come out and, handle Miami well.
Yeah, no, I think a season highlight to say the least. I think you know I've watched a lot of information about this upcoming Miami game. I've seen a lot of people on the Miami side kind of side of things kind of just you know immediately casting us off of, oh, that's a win on the schedule. I think almost love to be in this position where they're
Yeah.
not really kind of paying attention to us, and that's fair.
That's
I think
exactly
that's
right. Element of surprise. That's
right.
how we've won a lot of those big games before. And, this might be another.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a fair, from their side of things. I think it's fair for them to look at it like that. But for us, it's almost like, oh, this is almost perfect. They're going to come in.
Hmm.
They're going to be on the fourth game of the season. They're going to play Florida, get tested early. And if they come out on top or if they come on a bottom, will they have a chip on their shoulder? Or are they going to roll into Raymond James thinking, hey, it's just another lay down team?
Yeah.
I think we're in a great position to kind of shock the world during that game. And I know the Alabama game's a similar situation, but I think this one at home in our environment. When you saw what we did last year when Alabama came into Raymond James, I think
That's
we
right.
have that comfort in our home, just like every other home team does. And I think this one specifically, it seems almost realistic. I mean, it seems like this could be a really good game
Yeah.
against Miami. So
And should be a really good game. I'm expecting nothing less. Again, like you said, we're going to be able to score on them. And we're going to have to see what kind of defense we have by then. And that's 4 games in. So that our defense should be well defined by then.
Oh yeah,
We will have 3 games
battle
of
tested for
experience,
sure.
and we will have been battle tested. That's right. Facing Alabama. So we should be well seasoned. By that time,
Yeah,
and so it should be a really really good game. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited for it. But yeah, I mean, this year it's almost like we can talk about every game. Like, hey, this could
Yeah, that's
be
right.
a tide turning game for the program. I think every
Hmm.
game we have to look at every game as a must win this year.
Yeah.
No matter who we're playing, where we're playing at, we have to win every game. We have a chance at winning at least. And
That's right. That's right. And I think we're going to be in every game.
yeah,
And I don't know what our record's going to be at the end. I'd like to improve upon our last year's record. At least get another bowl. But we have a shot in every game that we're in. And I would say the same for last year. But last year, you know, some of those games ended up being pretty ugly.
yep,
Pretty big blowouts against teams that, quite honestly, we weren't really expecting.
yeah,
UTSA. We're talking about teams that we were going in there, looking at them like Miami's looking at us, like, oh, there shouldn't be too much of a problem there,
yeah.
and so. We need to clean those kind of games up because
Not that by any chance we were in the position to go into these games like that, which is
that's
so.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it seemed like two games that jump out at me right away last year were UAB and FAU. I mean,
Hmm.
those are two teams that a just came into the conference. We're in Conference USA prior to that, come into the AAC, and weren't notably great teams. There shouldn't have been a struggle like they were. And when I say struggle,
Hmm.
I shouldn't even say struggle. I mean, they beat us. They beat the
Yes.
crap out of us, both of those teams.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right. Yeah.
and so that kind of goes to where, I think, but back to what I said earlier and what we talked about, Golesh is, preaching to these guys, hey, we're a process driven team. Do your process, good things will come. And if you listen to any of the press conferences, all the players almost regurgitate that same sentiment.
That's right. Yeah.
Process driven. We get
That's
in
because
here.
they're buying in, and
Yeah,
that's what you want. You want a bunch of parrots to be,
right.
on the same, mind thought, as their coach. And that's, I think, what we have this year, which is a
Yeah.
good sign.
And so what I think and what I'm hoping for and what I need to see, and I think what we all need to see and what the program it has to happen is out of that, we saw bits and pieces of that process driven, kind of spurred out last year and we had some
Hmm.
success. And I think there was some guys that had success that did buy in. Next year or this coming year, that process driven team needs to translate into consistency.
That's right.
Because we can go and have a tight game with Alabama, but none of that matters if we go get beat by 40 points by FAU next week.
That's right.
So, just leading into this next year is, can we just show, our fans, can we show our program, can we show our school that, hey, we can also consistently do this, we can win, 4, 5, 6, who knows, 10 games, in a
Yeah,
row. We can go out there and do the same thing game in and game out, and that's going to translate into success. You know,
that's right.
so that's what I'm really. I mean, that is my biggest thing going into this next season is, hey, great. We had a great first game against Bethune. We had and don't get me wrong, these first few games, especially with that Miami and Alabama, it's going to be ups and downs, and we could come out of this. I'm not going to say 4-0, but who knows? You could get 4-0 or 0-4. Realistically, based off of what we saw last season,
Yeah.
and so those games, it's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be rocky, but after that Miami game, we get into this conference schedule.
Hmm.
We have to be consistent in that conference schedule. I mean, we have to
That's
win the
right.
conference this year. I mean, that's our ticket is to win this
That
conference.
is our ticket. Well, and so where is that our ticket to? The question is. So it likely is if we win the conference and at least give a good game against both Alabama and Miami, we might be that number 12 spot in the 12-team playoff. But that leaves us open to basically being just the first stop on the coaching carousel. That leads Galesh here looking mighty good, taking a team that was, 3-27 over the last 3 years, and taking them to the college football playoff in 2 years. That's very desirable turnaround time. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of big programs who, likely will have some openings next season. And so that's something that has to worry us as Bull fans, right? We've seen it before, with Taggart. He had some success here, and he ran across the country and ended up coming back and beat us last year with FAU. But you know, so we kind of have to temper our expectations for that as well. I I am very excited for where we could go, but the reality is where we go might not turn out to be the way we want it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that one. And I think that's honestly on a lot of Bulls fans' minds right now. I think that's a very scary topic, especially in this kind of new age of college football. You
it
know,
is.
not only are players kind of jumping around, but this coaching carousel is going wild in college football these days, and we're at the prime spot in that carousel for those big time programs to kind of
Yeah.
pull these coaches out of. Um,
Yeah,
but
we're a great stepping stone, which is what we're trying to not become. We want to move past that, and we want to be a great destination.
yeah,
And going back to earlier, we were talking about Galesh saying the right things. He's also currently saying the right things about this. That we are a team. That there should be winning expectations here. That this is a team that can compete on a national stage, and he's building a solid program and a feeling.
yeah,
Um, you know, and I like to hear all that. That's what you want to hear. But the reality is, we can't pay him as much as a lot of other schools. And if someone comes in and offers him, twice as much,
yeah,
he you can't say no. And that's an unfortunate reality.
yeah,
Um, but I think that's a problem for next year, right? Let's try to get through this season. Let's try to see how well we do and see where we're at the end of the season. These are all hypotheticals that we're talking about now. Where we're at right now is we got a solid team, we got a good coach, and we got momentum.
yep,
And that can be a dangerous combination.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we got him right now on an 11.5 million dollar 6 year deal. And just that sounds like a lot of money to the average guy, but to a primetime college football coach, that's not cutting it.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things that happen, especially during this season. I think if we can, um, have that success that we're talking about. I do hope, and I do truly think, and from what the athletic director has kind of put in front of us, is that these contract negotiations are going to be vital this upcoming year. I think, and I really do hope that we do what we can to kind of step in front of those those powerhouses, power for conference teams that are going to try to come and grab them out of our conference. Hopefully our program, with all this investing in the stadium and the facilities, they also do that with the coach as well. I know they did that with the basketball coach. This past
Hmm.
season, they extended the contract, gave him some more money, just to do anything they can to kind of to hold on to this success that we have. And that's been our problem. I know earlier you mentioned Taggart, um,
Hmm.
Taggart leaving the program, kind of at one of its peaks in our
Hmm.
history, leaving the program. So
Now, there is a difference in now and then. We didn't
yeah,
have the support of the athletic program that we do now. When Taggart was here, we were doing well. We had Quentin Flowers. We had a really good team, but the athletic department wasn't as well supported as they are now. We're investing a lot of money in our athletics now, which is great. And, quite honestly, hopefully that means, we will prioritize keeping Glesh around and, pay him,
Yeah.
and if the success continues, we have to do what we can to, fight to keep him around.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. And, that's just, all things that I think, they're coming down the road. Um, but I think, most importantly, what we can do as fans and, as alumni is just, let's live in the moment and kind of enjoy where we're at. And, these things will come down the road, and, let's just kind of enjoy the moment for just a second,
Mm-hmm.
take a deep breath,
That's
and
right.
just, hey, it's been a really rough past few years and the prospects are looking good. Let's just take a breath
Yeah.
and just kind of be happy with where we're at.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that's going to conclude our episode today.
All
Um,
right.
Please do follow us, like, subscribe. We're going to be posting these podcasts hopefully weekly, especially, after game days, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. So please do feel free, give us a like, do comment. We want to talk to you guys. We want to hear what you guys' thoughts are. But, other than that,
Yeah.
you know,
And let us know what you want to talk about. If you guys have some burning issues you want to talk about, that's what we do. We talk to each other, Bulls football all the time. That's why we wanted to bring it here and, see if anyone else wanted to join the conversation with us. We got a lot to say, and, we have opinions, and we'd love to hear yours too.
yeah. So we're trying to almost make these 2 hour long conversations on the phone, just make them public. Let's hear what everyone else has to say. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
we want to get, Bulls Nation kind of involved in the media. And, that's kind of our reason, our why, for being here.
That's
But,
right.
other than that, appreciate you guys if you made it this far in the video. And other than
Yeah.
that, man, go Bulls, and,
Yeah.
let's win some football games this year,
That's
man.
right. Go Bulls, baby.